Well, good morning, everyone. How you doing? Hope you're having a great start to your day, and welcome to another live The Doctor is In podcast. We're happy to have you on with us. And let's say hello, romper room style, as some of you say it is. Andrea, good morning from Niagara Falls, and Mike from Norland. Jen from Cape Breton, our dear friends. Carol, how are you? Brahim, my friend from Portland, Oregon, how are you? Love you too, bro. Mary, good morning. Nick from our staff. Fran from Orangeville. What would I do without you guys? Georgie, Halifax. Jeanette from our staff. Wendy, good morning from Markham. Babika, Naperville, Illinois. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Evelyn, good morning. Dave, Muskoka. And Yolande, good morning. Carolyn, nice to have you on. Sherry, hello. Yvonne and Dale. Zian and Jean, good morning to you from Blainville, right? Francis, Marie, Cecilia from Sudbury, Pablo, Brownsville, Texas, Kevin, you're late this morning from Oshawa, Diane, Cindy, Ottawa, another Diane, good morning. Oh, Kevin just said he had the driveway to do. Margaret, Lakeland, good morning. Sylvie, Jackie, Belil, Deb from Timmins, Sue, good morning, St. Petersburg, Florida. Guys, we get them coast to coast. John, our friend from Elgin, Illinois. Elaine, Marvel, Ottawa. Brian, Poland Spring, Maine. I'd love to go to Poland Spring, Maine. Lynn from Vernon, good morning. And I missed someone there. Luella. Deb. Nova Scotia. Okay, just about ready to go. Lise, how are you? Rhonda, you got a song, Rhonda, I want to sing. Kadaju, how are you? And Rosalinda. Oh, she said she'd dig it out in Niagara Falls too. Oh, wow. Jeanette from St. Petersburg. Good morning, Florida. And Julie. And Wendy from London. Okay, now, I got a comment, and Brian and Regina, how are you? Stephanie, I got a comment on a study that came out yesterday, new research on sugar alcohols, okay? And they were talking in that study specifically about erythritol, okay? Now, studies years ago showed that erythritol was probably one of the better sugar alcohols. And in terms of what it did with your insulin, it didn't elevate insulin almost at all compared to, like sugar alcohols, guys, they're not sugar and they're not alcohol. Okay? But they call them sugar alcohols. And you'll see xylitol, maltitol, erythritol, what else? I mean, there's sugars like that. They're called sugar alcohols. And for the last, I don't know how long, excuse me, they've been used in food products. Now, they're like, we're all familiar with aspartame and sucralose and whatever. Those are real artificial sugars. And guys, I've always told you they mess up your microbiome, and I don't like them. I never liked them. But they're popular, like in Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi and anything that's sugar-free, they usually put an artificial sugar in. And then years ago, I'm talking maybe 30, they started to discover sugar alcohols like erythritol, xylitol. You'll see it in toothpaste. You'll see xylitol supposed to be good for your teeth. And but they're starting to find out now that there seems to be some side effect. I always used to caution people with sugar alcohols, especially one like maltitol. Your body doesn't really know what that is, so it has a hard time digesting it. And for a lot of people, I used to caution them on the digestive side effects of sugar alcohol. There was a study out recently on xylitol, which they use in gum, and I'm trying to think of some other products that they use xylitol in. And xylitol elevates your uric acid, according to this study done recently that I read. And then yesterday they came out with erythritol seems to have some connection to cardiovascular event. It can be hard on your heart. So I read the study. Look, here's my takeaway. Look, use anything like that. Erythritol, xylitol, maltitol, not maltitol, but not maltitol, but any of those OLs, those alls, okay, sugar alcohols, be careful with them. Limit them. Okay, so I'm not big on it. I've never been really big on it. I tell people when they're doing the reset, they ask me this all the time, can I use some kind, I can't drink coffee without doing something with it. And I always say, well, I feel sorry for you. But I'm on your side. Okay, guys, I want you to get through the reset. If you have to put a little wee bit of erythritol or whatever in your coffee to make you drink coffee, I guess. Like I said, I really don't. I'm huge on the reset because it's a 30-day program. And I really want people to bear down for 30 days and not use anything artificial, not use anything that, just because it's a reset. I'm trying to get people to be healthy. Maltitol is what I was looking for. Anyway, so when I read the study, I go, okay, it's just another reason to be very careful and limit these things. It's not, perfection, but if you have to use, that's one of the reasons that even in, you get these keto foods that you can buy. And they substitute any sugar with them, and often they use sugar alcohols. And I don't like keto foods. Okay? I really don't. Because to me, yeah, they're low in terms of sugar, they're low in terms of carbohydrates, but I find them to be very artificial foods. I'm big on eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay? Nutrient-dense foods. Keto foods are not necessarily, I know it's a big industry today, but in order to make them eatable, they often put garbage in there, like foods that are they're not really foods. They're not full of nutrients. And anyways, all I want to say is this, okay, guys? Look, form habits. Form habits. One of the habits you'll form, and I think you can do it, is getting rid of anything artificial. Okay? Anything artificial. So, you can do it. It's amazing how people form habits. And, like I said, when you're on the Titanic, don't worry about the deck chairs. Worry about if you're on a catastrophic journey. I talked to someone yesterday. I said, focus, man. Focus. You're on the Titanic. You're in trouble. Metabolically. This person was a diabetic already. I said, well, that's been going on for years. Diabetes didn't come overnight. Blood sugar is a lagging indicator. It's one of the last things that happens in the body, is because your body is so fearfully and wonderfully made. It is made to keep you away from diabetes. So for someone to become a diabetic, it had to be abuse of carbohydrates for years and years and years and years. Diabetes is never first, it's last. Now, I'm not talking about type 1 diabetes, which is an autoimmune disease. I'm talking about what we used to call adult onset diabetes, and like my dad used to call it, sugar diabetes. The first time, well, not the first time I ever heard about diabetes, but because it was in our family. But my dad, when he announced that he was a diabetic, he called it what it really is. They changed the name of it. They call it type 2 adult onset diabetes. That's to throw you off. The food industry, you think they're not powerful? They changed sugar diabetes to type 2 diabetes. And oh, it's genetics. No, it's not. It's genetics, they tell you. It's not genetics. It's food. It's sugar, my friend. And crappy carbohydrates that turn to sugar in nanoseconds. It's not genetics. Genetics, yeah, it gives you a weakness, but it's not diabetes. So when you're on the Titanic, at first, don't worry about the deck chairs, okay? Like if you got to use some sugar alcohol, and, you know, I don't like artificial sweeteners. I don't. I've been pretty consistent about that. And the more they research it, now they're starting to catch up to, because, you know, I remember saying this years ago on my radio show. And the problem with, you know, aspartame and, you know, because people used to call in all the time, Doc, what do you think of that? I said, well, look, the research at the time wasn't conclusive, but I said, I always say this about some foods. When your body doesn't know what it is, you know, it's like margarine. Your body doesn't even know what that is. You think, oh, it's made up of plant oils and this and that. Your body goes, what is that? It doesn't get metabolized. Your body says, hey, you, cuckoo. No, your body talks back and says, why are you giving me that? I don't know. What is that? Is it plastic? Why are you feeding me that? There's no nutritional value. Oh, Dr. Martin, it's low in cholesterol. I know, and that's why it's so stupid. It's artificial. Margarine was made for your car, not for you. You can use synthetic, in your car. Okay? I got synthetic oil. As we speak, I have synthetic oil in my car. I don't know anything about it. When I went for an oil change, the guy says, "What do you want in there? Oil or synthetic?" I said, "What does my car call for?" And he said, "Well, if you don't want it to break down as fast, better for your engine," he says, here's the guy telling me, I don't know anything about it. He said, "You're better off for viscosity in your engine to use a fully synthetic or partially synthetic oil." Okay, what do I know? And I felt like giving him a lecture on canola oil or soy oil or grapeseed oil or rapeseed oil. Because I say, well, those are synthetic. I could bring it from the grocery store and you could put it in the car. Would it work? I didn't do it because he probably wouldn't understand what I was talking about. Your body doesn't know what these things are. Even sugar alcohols. Your body doesn't know what it is. It's not nature. So your body goes, okay, I don't know what to do with this, but if you insist on using it, okay. And go back now with me, okay? Go back 30 years. I did it from my radio show. People were calling in and saying, "Well, Doc, what about this?" I said, "Well, the research isn't conclusive yet. But I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to be negative." And I was one of the first people to say, I think it disrupts your microbiome, those little bacteria in your gut. Because they don't know what that is, and I think it's going to disrupt the microbiome. And people didn't even know what the microbiome, what are you talking about? Well, I said your whole body is made up of bacteria. Good, bad, and ugly guys. And I said, the more good guys you have, the more you win. And if you mess that up, and you get what we call a dysbiosis, an imbalance between good and bad, I said, you're in trouble. Now, you might not sense it right away, but that's what I said years ago happens to your microbiome with artificial sweeteners. Okay? Okay. No, all I'm saying, guys, is, look, if you got to, okay, start with a big picture first. Okay? When you look at your health, start with the big picture first. So if you're talking to your kids or your grandchildren, and if you say everything is bad, I wouldn't do it like that. I would say, look, let's cut back on sugar. Start there. Let's cut back on sugar. Yeah, but grandma, our mom, dad, I gotta have some sugar, man. Well, here's an artificial one. I don't like them, but we're gonna wean you off sugar. Okay. Look, guys, people ask me this all the time, by the way. Okay? I get asked this all the time. Am I a purist? You know what I mean by that? Everything has to be organic. Everybody gotta go live on the farm. Well, that would be ideal. Somebody asked me last night again, okay, what I think of milk. Well, I said, depends. Do you have a cow in your backyard eating grass? You don't? Well, I wouldn't touch the milk in the grocery store. Okay? Now, you guys know that. I've been telling you that for years. Am I a purist? Well, I don't like kids drinking grocery store milk. I wish we could drink whole milk right out of the cow milk, right? But good luck with that. Good luck with that. It's against the law. In most provinces and most states, you can't even get raw milk. Right? And that's, who did that? The dairy industry did that. They wanted you to go to the grocery store and buy their white Pepsi. They don't want no raw milk. And they always talk about salmonella, salmonella. Yeah, listen. You know, I know there's some wonderful things we've done in our society today, and things, you know, can be very much improved with, you know, things like, you know, killing bacteria and stuff like. I get that, guys, okay? I'm not silly. All I'm saying is they've really thrown out the baby with the bathwater when it comes to raw milk. And you know, like, you think people just drop because they drank raw milk? Like, raw milk's got all the enzymes. It's got all the good bacteria. It's got all, like, it's almost a perfect food, but good luck trying to get it where it hasn't been pasteurized. Good luck with that. I don't think there's ever going to be a turning back of that clock. That's me. Okay? I don't think I'll see it in my lifetime. So am I a purist? No, I'm not a purist. I want people to succeed. I want people to get the big picture. If you're not doing well, you're on the Titanic. Turn the ship around. Or jump into a lifeboat. Don't worry about the furniture. We'll do that after. After you change course, we'll do that. We can get more specific, and sugar alcohol is one of them. So here's my takeaway. Let me just finish with this. Be careful. Okay? Don't live on that stuff. Whether it's molitol, xylitol, erythritol, don't live on that stuff. Limit it. If you can eliminate it, eliminate it. You don't need it. Okay? And, you know, your aspartame and sucralose and, you know, you stay away from that stuff, you know, as much as you can, okay? Again, big picture. And then, you know, like monk fruit, stevia, those are better because they're nature, they're natural, okay? But even then, I don't want you to live on that stuff, okay? I don't want you to live on it. Learn to live without it if you can. Okay? So that's my teaching on that this morning. Because you're going to see it. I think it was in the news. A lot of people were mentioning it, I noticed. And I said I better talk about it. Okay? And I got a couple of other studies I wanted to do with you. But we'll do those maybe tomorrow. Okay. Good news. You guys have voted on our new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, and Sleep, in paragraphs, okay? And we're just about ready to go to printers now, okay? So we if you haven't voted, vote, because it'll be shut down in the next couple of days. You won't be able to vote anymore, okay? I'm not telling you the one that's leading. right now. Okay? So we're going with our audience. You guys are the greatest audience, and I mean it. Loyal, loyalty, okay? Smart, and fun. How do you like that? You're loyal, you're smart, smarter than the average bear, and fun. You allow me to have fun. Much appreciated. You have brought the Doctor Is In podcast to the leading health podcast in Canada. And we're going to try and do that in the States. And our Facebook Lives are #1 in health by far. They just are. And that's you guys. Loyal, okay, smart, and fun. Can you think of anything else? Because of you guys. Okay, so we love you more than you know. More than you know. Okay? And we'll talk to you soon.